It's a historic day in Jammu and Kashmir today, with the first woman chief minister of the state being sworn in along with her council of ministers. For Mehbooba Mufti, it's going to be a huge task ahead after the loss of her father and also considering the nature of the alliance with the BJP. The big question is this: yes, there are internal differences between the BJP and the PDP. Will this government actually last its course? Joining us for more on that, Amitabh, Mattoo, the PDP leader, and also with us, the former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister, Dr. Farooq Abdullah. I'd like to thank both of you very much for joining us. Dr. Mattoo, let me come to you first. At the very onset, in as much as today was a positive day for Jammu and Kashmir, the first woman Chief Minister being sworn in the state, it was also didn't go all that well for you, with Tariq Kara, the MP from Srinagar, having actually decided to not appear because he felt that his selection of ministers was not being respected by Mehbooba Mufti. Isn't that a problem right off the top?
I think, first of all, Vishnu, you have to recognize that today is a historic day, not just because you have the first woman chief minister, but because you have also set into motion the process of reconciliation, which was Mufti Sahab's vision and which was reflected in the agenda for alliance. Obviously, in any political party, there are going to be differences. Some people may not agree with the position, but ultimately that's the beauty of our democracy, beauty of having inter-party democracy and allowing people to vent their views. So I think I wouldn't read too much. What I think is to focus on the important part, that this is a way of trying to ensure reconciliation between the three regions of the state and also a broader reconciliation across the region. And I am very glad that Dr. Farooq Sahab, for whom I have had a great deal of respect, was there at the swearing in. That's the kind of generosity that we need to see in politics, whether in Jammu and Kashmir or in the rest of the country.
Dr. Farooq Abdullah, you have, of course, always been a very generous man. That goes almost without saying in your case. But, sir, from the bottom of your heart, sir, and don't speak as a politician, speak from the bottom of your heart, do you really see this government lasting its entire term? Because the internal differences, some would say, are just too big, too fundamental.
Well, let me first wish her best of luck. I hope she succeeds in the mission that she has taken on her shoulders. This state is a very difficult state to govern. You have three distinct regions, and distinct regions have different aspirations, and to come up to their aspirations is not going to be very easy. But all the same, I wish her luck, I wish her best of wishes, and I hope that she will be able to bridge the gaps that exist between these three regions, that she'll be able to unite the Muslims, the Hindus, the Buddhists, the Sikhs, the Christians that live in this state. And I hope that she's able to bind Kashmir, Jammu and Ladakh together, which is very important for the existence of this state.
Dr.
Differences,
Mattoo,
as
yes.
Mr. Mattoo said,
Yes,
are in a party, and the existence will always be there. How she'll meet them, time alone will show. Whether those will become big, will become small, or they will threaten her government, that time only can show.
Dr. Amitabh, Mattoo, one of the big issues that the PDP has always raised is its concerns about the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. And initially the plan was, in your common minimum program, to reduce the number of disturbed areas so that AFSPA could be removed. But given this new wave of militancy that one sees on the ground, is it fair to state that the PDP's basic demand that AFSPA goes, one of its basic demands, is just not realistic given the security situation on the ground?
You know, first of all, it's day one, Vishnu, so one shouldn't begin by addressing the most controversial or the issues that people have differences over. I think what is the basic message of the agenda for alliance is safety, security, prosperity for the people of the three regions. And once, if you can ensure safety and security, then it's a question of how do you create those conditions. And I think At this moment, we should now focus on the agenda for alliance, the letter and spirit and the implementation of the agenda for alliance in terms of both governance, economic issues, and the larger political issues, rather than get into issues which can immediately create controversies. I don't believe that one should sensationalize issues. Rather than that, I think what we need to do is try and reflect on what can be done, what should be done, and how it can be done most effectively. And frankly speaking, yes. I think there's a moment of broader reconciliation here. As I said, I'm delighted that Dr. Saab and Umar Saab came there. I'm surprised that the Congress leadership wasn't present there, but I just hope that we can arrive at a broader consensus. I mean, every political party is in the business of winning political power, but apart from that, there should be a kind of minimum consensus about what we can all do together.
But Dr. Mattoo, you've definitely evaded the question. We all have nothing but the best wishes for any government in Jammu and Kashmir. But there is a lot of emotion and there is a lot of public anger as far as AFSPA is concerned. People want to know off the top, off the bat, what are you going to do to get rid of AFSPA? And my question to you was simple. The ground reality for security, very difficult. Tougher than it was a year back. Tougher than it was 2 years back. You want to get rid of AFSPA. Realistically, how can you ensure security?
Do you answer my question yourself? I'm not trying to evade the question at all. I said I don't want to get into an issue on which you can start off by not bridging differences but creating greater differences. Okay. The agenda for alliance is quite clear that there needs to be a review, but I'm not evading at all. I'm not going to answer that question because I'm not in a position to answer that question right away.
Dr. Abdullah, there was a very long wait of several weeks before Mehbooba Mufti finally decided she was ready to take oath and become Chief Minister. At that stage, it appeared that perhaps the alliance was all but over. And there are some who say that she has been able to extract some concessions, something extra from the Prime Minister. But there is still no word of what that may be. Do you think Mehbooba Mufti needs to be clear about that meeting with the Prime Minister and what exactly it achieved?
I think in the Assembly, when the session is called, the opposition will ask her. After all, you wasted 2.5 months in forming a government. You said you were waiting for some CBMs to come. Now, obviously, the opposition will ask her, what are those CBMs that you were given by the central government? That will be vital for her to answer, and she must prepare herself now for the Assembly session where she will have to answer what has she got in forming this government.